So now it's time to turn it up, surf the radio waves as we begin to burn it up. We all up in your area like landscape, definitely bringing you the power slam and pancakes. It's the mandate that you tune in. It's time to move out so we can move in and recognize that this is no illusion. I'm here to clear the air so that there is no confusion. It all started off in the book of Genesis when Jacob was wrestling with who he thought was his nemesis. And when the man saw he couldn't overpower him, he touched his hip but he really could have devoured him. And from that point then we hear a name change, rearrange the game, so now we gotta change lanes. So I'm here to let you know it's time to listen to the Pancake and Powerslam show. Let's go! Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Powerslam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Powerslam show. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam show. Turn it up.
You are now listening to the Pancakes and Powerslam show by Crave Wrestling on Blog Talk Radio. Be sure to follow Crave Wrestling on Twitter at Crave Wrestling and join the Facebook fan page Crave Wrestling.
And here we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 388. This is the Pancakes and Powerslam show. We are live and in living color, getting funky like a monkey, if you will, baby. So, I got the sniffles today. I've had the sniffles for the past few days. Here's the crazy thing, is that the air has just been really weird here in Ohio. And we've had air on, air off, air on, and off, air off, fan on, fan off. And so it's really confusing my body. And so usually it starts with a sore throat. It's just a weird way how this goes. Starts with a sore throat, and then as soon as my sore throat comes in, I know it. Every single time I know it. It's like that's usually the start of me getting sick again. So as soon as the sore throat goes, it gets real sore for a day or two. And then that goes away, and then my body starts to fight off the sickness, and I get like weak and sniffy. I'm not weak right now, thank God, and I'm not feeling bad. I'm just feeling sniffy and a little stuffy. So, throat is mildly sore, but manageable. But of course, the show must go on. And this is live on the Crave Wrestling YouTube page. This is 388 episodes of the Pancakes and Powerslam show. Just like every week, the PNP Nation, we going to get live and live in color. We going to get funky like a monkey, if you will. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. Pretty much the reins are off, guys. I mean, this is my page. So I can do whatever the heck I want on my page. So, might as well enjoy it. Like I said, I got a really awesome, amazing platform coming up. Until then, man, let's just have some fun and get down and dirty on the Pancakes and Powerslam show. I see the PNP Nation loading up. It's time to have some fun, guys. It really is time to have some fun. What's it? Yeah, freedom, right? Yes. 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 Amen to that, sir. Lexi's in the building. Moa's in the building. Mike's in the building. Ryan's in the building. I'm ready to have a lot of fun tonight. So, strap in, guys. Strap in, strap on. We got some All Out to talk about. I watched All Out. I watched TakeOver Cardiff. So we got a lot to talk about tonight. So this interview is going to be actually lengthy, but I think you guys will really like this because we're going to have a lot to talk about with the Shawn Stasiak interview. So I talked to Shawn yesterday, and he'll explain to you how it came about. So I'm writing a piece for the site that I write for. And I have not seen Royal Quest yet, Ryan, and I have New Japan World too. I'm subscribed to New Japan World, but I haven't seen Royal Quest yet. My weekend has been so busy doing dissertation stuff and getting all that together. Had a lot of stuff to do work wise. Like I said, I'm a mental health specialist by day. I had some weekend work to do. Had a busy Labor Day. So I literally was watching I was watching most of both All Out and Cardiff while I was driving. So I was so busy that I have the subscription that I have. I'm able to watch it on my phone as I'm driving. So basically, what I do is I have a truck, so I put it on my vent, and as I'm driving, it's playing. Like I put it horizontal, so it's playing like a mini TV in the middle of my truck. So I'm like driving, and when it's red light, I'm into it and looking down. Eventually, looking down, backing up and backing down and stuff like that. So I'm able to watch it while I'm driving. Not like glued into it because I'm driving. Safety's first, but I'm able to, and I hook it up to my Bluetooth on my truck. So the sound's able to play across my truck. As I'm driving. So I'm looking at it on my phone like a mini TV, and then it's hooked up to the sound of my on my truck. So GHP, what's going on? Oh yeah, I made you an admin here too, didn't I? GHP is the admin. So but yeah, man, it's really good to have the PNP Nation. You guys are awesome, first of all. Yeah, man, it's we're going to have some fun tonight. So I really think you guys will like this, Stasiak, but I'm glad you remind me, Ryan, about Royal Crest. I'm going to check it out. I did hear some things about it. I did see some. I didn't want to get spoiled about it. I did see some things with Okada and things like that. So, but I didn't want to get spoiled by it. I didn't want to get spoiled by anything, but I ended up getting spoiled because I saw a picture of Cesaro in Cardiff. And I ended up seeing some AEW stuff too. So I did get spoiled by both of those. But we'll talk about how both of those are. Then we'll talk about the Bayley heel turn, of course. And then the fight of the week, we're going to talk about the King of the Ring pay-per-views. So 1993, King of the Ring started to become a pay-per-view. I don't want to talk AEW yet, but Chris really did get his title stolen. Yes, and he cut a promo, too. He cut a promo on Instagram about it. So we'll talk about Jericho. When we talk about AEW, we'll talk about Jericho's crazy, what happened with that, too. So, yeah. As you see on the logo there, on the show logo, I talked to Stasiak, and he weighed in on which promotion is better, WWE to AEW. Now he didn't really give a conclusive answer, but he gave some really good insight, and he actually started asking me questions too. So he kind of interviewed me too. And so we really went back and forth and had a really, really good conversation, and I really, really enjoyed it. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna play Shawn Stasiak, and then after that, we'll jump in and have a lot of fun and talk about all the fun stuff that we're going to do. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back on the other side, and of course. Ask Chris questions. Get your Ask Chris questions ready and together. Again, man, listen. Just like Mike said, this is the Freedom Show, man. This is really the Freedom Show. This is my channel, and I get to play by my rules. Again, I appreciate the platform that I was on for the past, year and a half, but. You know what? As a matter of fact, you know what? I might just do, because I got pinged by WWE for playing for airing when we were doing the watch parties. I got pinged by WWE because there was like a snippet of USWA and the GWF stuff. I got pinged for like the snippet of USWA stuff. So if I can find a like legit King of the Ring Hard to be happy when they never promoted you. Yes. Freedom but still rated. Oh, you already know. You already know, GHP. My life is rated G, man. G for God. And I get to be free with that too. You love Stasiak's meat, Ryan said. So, as we listen to the interview, I'm going to be looking up some King of the Ring videos, and maybe we can do a watch party for like one of them. So I'll be looking at that and see if we can do that. So, yes, Mo, absolutely. You know it. You know it, my brother. All right, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do this. We'll be back on the other side. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Chris Featherstone, Pancakes and Powerslams show. So I am doing actually a project, a fun project, and I want to talk to ex-WWE wrestlers. And here's my thing. On the heels of AEW AllOut, there's an interesting show. It got positive reviews for the most part from what I've seen. There was a lot to poke at as well. Of course, I'll share my take on the Pancakes and Powerslams show, but I wanted to talk to ex-WWE stars about their take on whether they prefer still WWE over AEW. Now, of course, AEW is just is not even a year old yet. It officially launched in January of this year. And there's still a lot of questions to be answered with AEW. Yes, they got a big TNT deal. Yes, they are killing it with the craze and the popularity, the buzz. But at the same time, there's still a lot of questions to be answered. Very, very young product in its infancy, fresh in its infancy. But, at the same time, still doing a very buzzworthy, a very good job creating and keeping the buzz. But at the same time, there are certain people that are just WWE lifers that, regardless of the good competition, which AEW is good competition, is good that buzz is coming back. This person has been with WCW and WWE, so he understands the buzz of a product that kind of fizzles out and it gets to the point where it's no longer. Now, it's interesting that I actually was watching on the WWE Network again right before we were talking. I was watching the kind of fall of WCW, the last days of WCW, and how Eric Bischoff had the deal running and then it abruptly stopped. And this person was a key character in the last days of WCW and also in WWE. So without further ado, he's back on the show. He started to become one of my favorite guests. But it's a different spin to it this time. This is Shawn Stasiak. How you doing, sir?
Great, man. Hey, appreciate you having me on. We should probably just tell the listener how this all came about. You had asked me a question via a private message, Facebook,
yep.
And I looked at it. I've been busy, pulled different directions the last few days. Of course, I'm always pulling different directions. But anyway, my point is I was going to get back to you, and then you text again, thoughts. I was like, you know what, I just thought I'd call you.
Yep.
Because to answer the question you asked me, I feel like, okay, yeah, am I qualified to answer that question? Would you value what my insight would be? I could imagine why. But at the same time, I've been away from the business for so long that I just thought, it might be a complex answer. So I thought it would be better just to record it, let me kind of express my thoughts, and you can kind of take away what you need for your project.
Absolutely. Yep, that is the backstory. So without further ado, Shawn, what are your thoughts? You like I said, you were an instrumental part in both WCW, the kind of last days of WCW, and just in WWE for a time being. What are your thoughts overall on AEW, kind of creating that infancy, the buzz, and WWE, AEW? Which one do you prefer?
Yeah, okay, so here's the deal with me. I think that any time there's annuity okay, a change of pace, I think creates that excitement, man. And I think, especially in professional wrestling, because since the Monday Night Wars dissipated, and how many times you hear these shows talk about the Monday Night Wars? I mean, that was such an exclusive rarity time. I mean, who would have thought it would have had the history that it does now?
Yep.
Meaning how much we reflect on that, right? And of course, you had, and correct me if I'm wrong, because again, I've taken a different path in my life, and as a chiropractor, and developing into taking my speaking career to a whole different level now. So I try to watch the product because it's just in me, even though it's funny, I got a lot of stuff to do, but I just find myself still, it's just my habit, man. As a little kid, I'm just in a habit of watching it when I can. So I record WWE, and I try to just kind of get through the show. It's in fact, tonight it's Monday Night Raw tonight, right? So it's a 3-hour show. It's a long show. Yep. Point being, from what I've seen with AEW, I think there's just an excitement because it's new, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that people deep down the competition is great. It's good for business. I think, though, that it's going to be a completely different product, and that's what I've seen so far. Not completely different, but in a lot of ways, there's a lot of different elements. And people keep saying, or compete with WWE. I don't think right now it's at a point where it's going to compete with WWE. Now, I guess it would compete to the demographics, the fans, because they have so much money to spend each month on something. What are they going to spend their money on for those types of folks, right? Yep. So I guess it is competition when you look at it that way. But as far as the show, I mean, from what I've seen, I like the variety and I like the diversity that I see. There's some things that I don't quite. I'm trying to suspend my. I'm a different generation, a different era. So when I grew up watching wrestling, Chris, I'm still not. I don't think everyone needs to look like a bodybuilder, because that would be boring if you had all the same body types. Yeah. But when you have giants to midgets to everyone else in between, fit dudes, and you got to have different looks and feels. It's like going to a movie. Who wants to see a bunch of different characters all looking the same? You got to have different shapes and sizes. It makes it interesting, right? It creates characters and themes and whatnot. So I get that with AEW, but I'm still an old school guy. I can't believe I'm saying this. And the last person I ever wanted to be or sound like is, well, back in my day, kid, it was, I'm not that guy. So I'm trying to evolve with the times. I'm trying to understand we're in a new generation, new era of wrestling. Mm-hmm. But I still have a very difficult time. I just think a professional wrestler needs to look like a professional athlete. I'm not saying you have to have a six-pack abs, but I just feel like the what I'm seeing here is just not as prevalent as it once in my time that I grew up. I grew up, inspired by guys like the Ultimate Warrior, mm-hmm. Ravishing Rick Rude, even Hulk Hogan, and just the list goes on and on of some of the better, even Roddy Piper, even Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. These guys were even a little bit smaller scale, but they just had this look and feel about them that was like, damn, they still look like they could compete with the giants, right? And I just don't get that with wrestling today. But then again, I say to myself, that's maybe just my age, my era, my generation, and I'm not looking at it through the eyes of the majority of the demographic today. Yeah. So when you ask me the question, AEW versus WWE, I just see it's a different product, and it's hard to compare. It's like comparing apples to oranges as opposed to apples. I think it's great because it's new. It gives the wrestling fan variety. It gives them an option to watch something different, of a different style, different takes and feels. I watch WWE because, and I won't make this segment into me, I'm going to be producing some content soon that's going to be very expressive and part of my speaking realm. But as much as I've been very, I'll just put it this way, I've been very disappointed, and I've been very hurt, man. I've been very hurt by that company in a lot of ways, and I'll get into that another time. Just a feeling of loyalty, and just I felt very loyal to that company for DNA reasons, just because my father and the platform is set for me to follow, and even watching after he retired watching that particular product. I felt very devoted and loyal to that company, WWE.
Yep.
And I never received, I would say it's probably safe to say, without sounding like a whiny little bit. Sorry, I forgot. I caught myself there.
Nice,
Chris. See, hey, you got to give me some props there, brother, because I about slipped there. Okay. It was good. It was good. I caught myself. But the point is, man, I've been hurt by the company, but at the same time, I still watch the damn thing. And it's because, I don't know, it's just in me. So when I watch it, I'm pulling for these I want Drew McIntyre to make it. I want Seth Rollins. I'm starting to get into these guys, man. Like, I think the Fiend thing's freaking awesome. I couldn't believe when I watched his entrance at one of the pay-per-views about a month ago. Man, I watched that damn thing 20 times. I was playing the damn theme song in my workout. I loved it.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it inspired me, man, because I got my own, kind of spooky, creepy character, my alter ego, Phobia. But the point is, I'm trying to suspend. I think with pro wrestling, and you ask yourself, to me, it could be the silliest, goofiest, juvenile content ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Bunch of grown men, half naked, pretend fighting with other men and women, right?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But then when you think about the art of pro wrestling, and you think of, telling a story and suspending your disbelief, and it's like paying your $12 and getting your popcorn and your soda to go watch a movie. You want to live vicariously through these characters, and so it's part of our pop culture, and I think that's the connection. Even myself at 49 years young, I want to feel like I did when Rick Rude walked through the curtain. I believe Rick Rude could steal my girlfriend and kick my butt. Mm-hmm. I want to believe in Roddy Piper, and I want to believe in some of these guys today. So I'm trying to reclaim what I grew up on and the inspiration and passion that it created for me, right? And so I'm pulling for these guys in WWE. So I watched the show. It's hard to get through sometimes. But I watch AEW. I've watched a couple pay-per-views, like a couple. I thought the Cody Rhodes, Dustin Rhodes thing was awesome. Of course, I can appreciate that with family lineage and that whole legacy thing. That was freaking awesome. And I love the emotion. My favorite part of pro wrestling is just the real life parallels that are drawn into the storyline. And God, if I was in that Ringer building, I teared up was watching it, on TV. But I just felt. I really felt that, So it's hard for me to answer your question. What do I prefer, AEW or WWE? I know to answer that question, I went into a long spiel there, but that's why I said you need to record the damn thing and let's just talk. I'm pulling for them. I hope they succeed because competition creates good business. And it gives the wrestling fan an opportunity to have some variety. Yeah. And I think it's good for the boys. I think it's good for the talent, man. It gives them some options, to make a living. So that's where I'm at, brother. That's what I think of the comparison of the two.
Yep, I think it's a really good assessment, and I think that especially the last thing that you said, it really hits from a positive standpoint, because there was a time. Even when you were in the WWE, there was a time where indie wrestling was not at a boom period whatsoever. So WWE was really all you got as far as just making a substantial living. Now, it's a whole different ballgame now.
Yeah.
And because of that, WWE is much less apt to just let people go. There's been plenty of reports over the past year that WWE's holding contracts, freezing contracts, actually negotiating with people because the leverage isn't necessarily on the company anymore. The leverage is on the wrestlers. And beforehand, the leverage was on the company because it's like WWE or bust. You can't really make a living anywhere outside of WWE. Now you can make a living plenty of places, not even AEW. ROH, New Japan, Impact Wrestling. You can make a living being a pro wrestler nowadays, and the leverage is now back on the wrestlers rather than the company. So that, as far as which one's better, I have my take. I'll share on the show. But I think overall, just an overarching kind of just kind of like a 10,000-foot view of
the landscape in general, I think the positive is that the leverage is back on the wrestlers.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I had heard that the indies were hotter than ever now, and of course you have Impact Wrestling. I don't know, the ones I know of are Impact. I didn't even know they switched from TNA. That's how, disconnected I've been on some of that stuff. But WWE, Impact Wrestling, and now AEW are the main three. Is that correct? Those are the three main promotions.
WWE, AEW, Impact, and then you have ROH, and then New Japan having a big American, more of an American impact or significance or imprint now than it ever has before. Okay, and that's right, because there was a big card here from New Japan. I believe it was here at the American Airlines Center here in Dallas, in Texas,
where I live. So that makes sense. That makes sense. But yeah, that's great, man. You know, it's good to know that there's those opportunities. I heard that going overseas is advantageous for a lot of these guys too. The UK. I love the UK, by the way. Shout out to my UK. I get a lot of my favorite. I better watch what I say. My favorite. You know, I'm a favorite of anybody who's loving and supporting. Man, every little bit counts, and I think maybe I'm in a midlife crisis or something, because any good thing I hear, boy, I'm really grateful to hear those things, as long as it's authentic. But I'll tell you what, I get these requests for pictures, 8x10s from time to time, and DVDs and whatnot, and it seems like I get a majority of them come from like Australia and the UK, so that's interesting.
Nice.
But anyway, yeah, I heard that it's a good time in pro wrestling, so that's good to know.
And even NWA, they got a TV deal too. They're coming back too. So, well, they've been back for a while.
Let me ask you a question. I'm just curious, because I'm educating myself through you. You're staying up with all this stuff. What's interesting to me is what do you? Okay, so here's the deal. I mean, I would imagine that most the demographics of are they pretty much the same demographic for each of those promotions, an age range?
Much older for WWE.
Okay, so do you know what the breakdown is of WWE? What is WWE?
WWE, I think their median. I wrote an article about it late last year. I think it was around 50.
Wow.
See, let me pull it up real quick. Median age is 54.
Wow, that's a median age for WWE right now. Today's product right now.
Yep.
Okay.
That was as of a little over a year ago, and it's still around. It's still around the older age. It's basically people from the Attitude Era, who was in their late 20s during the Attitude Era, mid to late 20s, still trying to hold on.
Well, that makes sense to me. Then why all what my perspective is the feedback that I get from most fans watching WWE, the product today, is there's just a lot of complaining about it. Like, it seems like, so when you tell me the median age is 54, that tells me that that's a little older than me, but it's around, they must have really hit their pinnacle around the Attitude Era. So I could see them, it would be difficult for them maybe to accept some of the wrestling content today, because they're still comparing it to that time. That makes sense. It's interesting when you break it down. Now, when you say those other promotions, like with AEW, with ROH, with Impact, it's a little bit younger. I don't know what that is, but my question to you is this. Most people today, I would imagine 2019, would know that pro wrestling is a staged performance, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Especially with social media.
Social media, you've got UFC, you've got reality TV shows, all these things would educate the consumer or I would think that demographic, they would know, what, this stuff is staged. But it seems like, because it seems like pro wrestling's harder than it's ever been, or it's taken a spike, it's peaked, right? Or it's got a spike in its wave, meaning, what is the appeal, do you think, to like millennials today watching AEW, because they know it's staged, they know it's but what is the appeal, do you think? I'm asking you this question because sometimes I watch it and go, it's very interesting to me. I'm fascinated by the mindset, the mentality, and pop culture today? What is it they're interested in?
And that's what it is. It's pop culture. That's the biggest thing right now, is that feel. It's kind of like a modern day ECW, because it's an alternative brand. Because back in 97, 96, 97, WWE still had its attitude era, and it was still, it was a boom period. It's one of the biggest periods ever, in WWE around 98, 99. But at the same time, you still had a little engine that could. And I think at the end of the day, it's still, me as a very strong Christian, I bring back things to the Bible. It's still that David and Goliath feel to it. It's just mostly everything comes back to the David and Goliath feel. It's the big guy versus the little guy, and it's like you're kind of, and that's how the babyface versus heel dynamic works too. Because back in the day, you still had a huge conglomerate of WWE, and of course you still had WCW. But it was only about 2 years old as far as like the Monday Night Wars. There was still some competition, but it wasn't until like Sting feuding with the NWO that it became like huge. That was the end of 97. And so you still had ECW. Now the numbers didn't reflect it, but the culture that was behind ECW was a groundswell. And it was so much of a groundswell that people noticed. And the fans, especially WWE fans, or especially pro wrestling fans in general, they want to be heard. That's the reason why comment boards are still real big. That's the reason why hashtags are real big in social media. They want to be heard. That's the reason why you had the was it 1-900-909 9900, the 99 cents a minute lines, they want a voice, they want to be heard. And I think for a while, since WWE was such a juggernaut, it really kind of grabbed the throat of professional wrestling, so to speak. Now the fans, with an alternative brand again, similar to ECW, they feel like they can finally be heard again, and they can make their presence known from a fandom standpoint. Because with WWE, it's like WWE, you've been there, as far as just their programming, very stubborn. They toss scripts out like, hours beforehand. There's been a big report of Vince McMahon just ripping SmackDown scripts up like nobody's business the past few weeks. And so it's still a WWE branded show. It's not necessarily consumer friendly. It's more like, this is what you're going to get no matter what. So AEW is more consumer friendly.
Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to interject for a moment, though. So you brought up an interesting point. I thought, this is funny, because what I hear, and I don't know that you could probably vouch for this, I heard that the WWE ratings, like for TV, has declined, since when I was with WWE years ago, right? It's not the numbers, right? But then I hear reports that they've done their best revenue, and I keep forgetting that we live in a whole different world, social media world.
Yep.
And with that, there's ways of, so many ways of monetizing that. So they're probably doing great as a company. They say they're doing some of the best quarter they've had, but yet the ratings are the lowest. The dynamics change with the WWE Network, with social media. I guess they're making up for maybe the actual TV ratings. But I thought that they were now, because they have a social media, realm to their company. It seems like, let me ask you this: when they have those matches that say, hey, Seth Rollins is going to face, one of three people, you pick which one you want, and what kind of, they do the social media text in or whatever, tweet or whatever, right? How legit do you think that really is? Do you think that they're just already made up their minds who they're going to pick, or do you think they're really waiting to figure out who's going to get voted in? Do you think that's a real live connection with the fans, what they want versus what they've already got scripted out?
I think it's a combination of both. I always think it's a soft launch when they try to do stuff like that, because it's not totally predicated toward the fans. Now, I heard some reports like the early Taboo Tuesdays and Cyber Sundays, like they were legit, but it got to the point where it was just kind of
a false dilemma. It was just kind of like, we're going to kind of steer you in the direction of, choosing The Rock, because the other two, no disrespect, the other two choices are like Funaki and, Jimmy Wang Yang or something like that. Great talent, but of course they're not The Rock. You know what I mean? So, so it kind of creates a false dilemma for the fans just to kind of gravitate toward a particular choice. And so that's the reason why I think it's still WWE branded stuff, even with a quote fan, influence towards it. The fans haven't really influenced too much now. They were able to change the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal. They were, able to take that name off because of some controversy and stuff like that. So the fans' voice was able to take Fabulous Moolah off the Battle Royal name, and a couple other things. Of course, the Daniel Bryan thing was organic. So, I mean, a dime a dozen. I mean, it's like once a dime a dozen WWE has influence. I mean, it's what WWE says. But every now and then, you'll have that fan organic lightning in the bottle feel.
So is it safe to say that the other promotions like AEW, I would imagine AEW kind of stands alone, maybe ROH, do they have more of a fan-driven influence connection with the audience, would you say? Do the fans dictate more? I would imagine they dictate a little bit more about what AEW produces, same with ROH.
Yes, but I think it could go a little too far, though. Because
I was going to say, by the way, I think it's great they can interact with the fans and all that. That's awesome to have that interaction. Because people want to participate, they want to feel that they're part of something. That's awesome, but you can't give the fans every time what they want.
Right.
That would be boring. You got to do that. You got to swerve them. You got to piss them off. So that way when they do get their way finally, or they're pulling for something, and it happens, like now you've built it. Now it means something, right? But
100%.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that. I think that you got to have the fans kind of yearning for more, and I think that's what helped the storylines back in the day, and what made storylines actually make sense from 4-6 months, why the builds would be so amazing, is because we have actually conceded, like as far as WWE programming, a lot of executives and a lot of people from other programs, WWE too, they've conceded to the microwave mentality of fans. And so when a storyline is actually stretched, which I'm a traditional fan, I've been watching wrestling over 30 years, and I love when storylines are stretched, because I always say pro wrestling is like a comic book come to life. So why in the world would you give me the fight scene on page 2 or 3? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that. That just kind of defeats the whole purpose of, because right now what we got in products, we'll get the fight scene on the 2nd or 3rd page, and then we'll read the plot leading up to the next fight scene. And I'm like, I've already got my fix. I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need the storyline now. You have that's the reason why I don't like when two people are physical before their pay-per-view match. I don't like that at all. I don't like when they I like face-to-face. I like when they don't touch each other, and they have like a face-to-face, and there's little to no physicality before their match. Because if I'm beating, like for instance on SmackDown, this previous SmackDown, Randy Orton beat up Kofi Kingston. Like they had a match at Clash of Champions, but Kofi Kingston, he went backstage to defend his son, and Randy Orton beat him up. So I'm like, if you can't even beat up Randy Orton to defend your son, why would I put stock? And I love Kofi Kingston; he's one of my favorite wrestlers. Why would I want to put stock in a man who couldn't even defend his son? You know what I mean?
I think what they're trying to do there, probably, I didn't see that, but just based on what you're telling me, I think what they're just trying to do is they're they're just trying to build sympathy and really anger and touch the heartstrings of the fan, who's a mom or a dad, watching it, right? But I see your point. Jesse Ventura, I heard an interview, I forget what some interview he did, had spoken about how it bothered him so much to see these guys interact when they're building this angle and storyline. Yeah. He said in his day, they'd have a guy would be maybe on the entrance way, and the guy would be in the ring. They'd have so much distance between, they'd never touch, and they built this over weeks and weeks, and then finally, when they finally touched, it meant something. Yes. Maybe the odd little bump here and there, I don't mean like bump in the ring, but like walking by and brushing shoulders, something maybe that happens from time to time. But I understand. Look, the bottom line is you're never. It's like pro wrestling. They say don't argue about. I want to say three things now. Don't argue about religion, politics, and now professional wrestling, because you're never going to appeal or appease everybody, right? And so I think that what their WWE was trying to do there is create sympathy and build heat for Randy, so that way maybe then again, sometimes that could be too predictable. Like, well, God, he's done all these crazy things to this baby face for the last 6 weeks. Of course, he's going to get his butt kicked at the pay-per-view and lose. Sometimes
and I agree with that. I agree with. See, that's the part I agree with, because I think you still remain dastardly. You still remain heelish. You don't have to just beat him up. Give him a low blow when he turns around. Clock him with, a chair. You know what I mean? Like, do something that's really just dastardly and just gets under your skin, not some big brawl. It still builds sympathy for Kofi, but it really blows up and boosts up just like, oh man, I hate Randy Orton, because because Orton is supposed to, and this, Randy Orton is supposed at the end of the feud, the heel passes the heat over to the babyface, and at the end of the day, during the storyline, the heel is the one who should get the most focus. I'm supposed to get to a point where I'm hating you so much that I cannot wait until the pay-per-view where the good guy gets his comeuppance. So, I mean, that, and that's just a tried and true method. No matter how much, and it goes back to the AEW versus WWE, just pro wrestling in general, no matter how many good matches you have and things like that, people always say Savage versus Steamboat's one of the greatest ever, which I agree, but they kind of tend to forget that Savage, I mean, he was healing it up before their match. The drop, the elbow drop with the ring bell, lacerated throat, and like it lacerated tongue, and like he was really building up himself up as a heel. Same thing with him and Hogan. Like he was like the whole Elizabeth thing, WrestleMania 5, really building himself up as a heel. That we got to the point where we hated Savage and we really wanted Hogan to get his comeuppance. And so I think no matter how you fold the piece of paper, it's still the same piece of paper. And at the end of the day, what the paper says to me is comic book come to life, good versus evil, good guy beats the bad guy. And I think if you try to go away from that, you kind of miss the bottom line. So,
just I want to have to take off here, Chris, but I just wanted to say one last thing. I had heard, I don't know where it was again, but it was a Seth Rollins interview, or it was an interview he did. In fact, he was, I forget which, maybe he was on Edge and Christian's podcast, or it was, what it was? It was Mark Bell's, the power lifter out, Slingshot is his YouTube channel. But he's got I like Mark Bell. I've been following him, and he's just got some interesting guests and good information, good content. He had Seth Rollins on there, and it was from earlier, I think, this year. But, when you think about professional wrestling, because I even asked myself the question, like, why do I still even find myself, even if it's just once or twice a month, gravitating towards what's going on? I got to kind of, find out what's happening. I think it's just one of those things where, and Seth had said it, and it's like, duh, of course that's why I was attracted to it as well. And most, especially little boys, when they first see a pro wrestler that's just, they're in awe with. I mean, it's really a super, and when you have a chance to go to an arena in your town and watch this live event, he says, man, it was like when I saw Hulk Hogan walk out of the entranceway, or Ultimate Warrior, or whoever it was, it was like a superhero like come to life. Like I could see it live, you know. So God, when he said that, see, I got goosebumps right now saying that, because that really touched my heartstring, thinking that's why I was attracted to it as well. Because you got to understand, you know, I have a different perspective. I grew up in my father was a famous wrestler, you know, and in Portland, Oregon, where I lived, especially comes to mind more than ever is, you know, I have memories of Andre the Giant in my living room, you know, or, hey, Shawn, come here. I want you to meet somebody. And I walk into a dressing room in Eugene, Oregon, and I'm looking at my left. There's Roddy Piper, lacing up his boots. There's Playboy Buddy Rose to my right. And then I look to the, you know, right there directly to where my dad wanted to bring me to. And there he is, freaking Andre the Giant, you know, standing there, shaking my hand, and I was just enamored with that. It's an amazing experience, you know. And so, yeah, man, they're like, you know, of course, my father was my biggest superhero, but and I have my particular, you know, I don't know if I've told this story on your show or not last time, but you know, I'll end it with this. So I feel grateful and blessed that I've had the experience that I've had. I've been brokenhearted in this business for a plethora of reasons, and I'll get into those things later because I don't want to ever sound like I'm complaining or pointing fingers. But there's got to be. I've been haunted by it, you know, that I haven't revealed, and I'm going to reveal these things. But there's always a reason why things happen, and for me as a speaker, as an influencer, I want to really create myself as a thought leader in the world. I've got to take my life experience and think, okay, why did this happen? There's got to be a real reason why it happened. And as painful and as much grief and void as it caused me, how can I take from this to share with the rest of the world that can rectify it? Does that make sense, Chris?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, with all of this, you know, I'm grateful that I had the experience that I've had, and I'm just, you know, when Seth Rollins had said, you know, about a real life superhero, I was like, wow. That's exactly it. That's what it was. That was the draw. That was the appeal. And even as an adult in life, you know, I think that we get so caught up in our daily stresses and you know, just the demands of life, you know, especially if you have a family and kids and, you know, all the responsibilities that come with it. It's just nice to revert back to that inner child that you once were, because it was the world of imagination. It was the world of possibilities, you know, and you know, for me, that's what the draw and appeal is. So I still, to this day, sometimes I want to live vicariously through these younger guys that are doing it. It's their time now. And I still I suspend my disbelief as best I can. It's more of a challenge, but I still try. It's probably because I'm older and I'm white, more wisdom, you know, and I know the business. But, yeah, so I appreciate you having me on the show, man, and I didn't even plan to call you. I was like, I'm just going to call Chris. We'll just talk about it.
Shawn, it's been a pleasure, man. I kind of figured that it was going to be a little lengthy in time because you have a plethora to share, and I love conversational interviews like this. Is my favorite type. You know, it's my favorite type of interview because it's just two genuine people who love pro wrestling talking about it, and I love it, and the fans do too. So I appreciate your time, man.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. I'm happy, too, that I called. I didn't plan it. I'm actually, this is my last little treat meal before I go on my 8 to 10 week rampage of getting ready for my character. I'm going to be shooting some studio stuff soon, but I'm at Fuddruckers of all places. You guys have a Fuddruckers in your town?
We did, but it closed down a while ago. So.
See, I just gave Fuddruckers a free plug there, man. You know, they should give me at least a free burger, right?
Yes, absolutely. I agree. There's a lot of people that listen to my show. So, Fuddruckers, if you're listening, give Shawn Stasiak some free stuff. Real quick, let the listeners know where to find you on social media.
Right now, I'm going to be changing some things around, but right now, it's just for Twitter and Instagram, it's Dr. Shawn, DRSHAWN 008. That's and you know, Twitter, Facebook, you know, Dr. Shawn 008 is my fan page, and just Shawn Stasiak, you'll find me on Facebook. But yeah, things are going to be changing soon, but I'll keep everyone updated, and going to be starting a new YouTube channel, and I'll talk to you more, Chris, on the side about some other things too. You might be able to lend an insight.
Sounds good. Pleasure, Shawn. Thanks for your time tonight.
Well, happy Labor Day, Chris. You have an awesome. It feels like a Sunday, Let's say happy Sunday, happy Monday, and have a great rest of the week, buddy. Thanks for.
All right, guys. I really hope you enjoyed that interview with Shawn Stasiak. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was lots of fun. So that is that. Okay. You're ready to rock and roll. Interesting stuff. You guys talking about AEW. All right. What's going on? Sports Huddle. Good to have you on the chat. No, yeah. It's last week. I was it was my last week at on the Wrestling Inc. platform. Last week I shared that, and again, for those joining while I was interviewing, I'm sniffy. I'm getting out of sickness that I had a few days ago. So, it starts with a sore throat, and then my throat gets better, and then I get sniffy and stuffy, and my body gets weak. Now my body doesn't get as weak, isn't as weak now, but I'm sniffy and stuffy. All right, Ask Chris Michael says, when you face adversity, personally, what Bible verses do you turn to? My favorite Bible verse is John 3:30. You must become greater, I must become less. That's my favorite Bible verse. And then my favorite Bible verse for a long while was Proverbs 3:5-6, which says, trust in the Lord with all thy heart, lean not to your own understanding, in all the ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. So those are foundational verses for me. But I read the Bible every day and study thoroughly. For those who haven't, subscribe to my Vision United podcast too. I have apologetics. I have a Christian apologetics podcast as well. Go ahead and sub to that. I tackle some really cool stuff there. Lexi thought Starrcast 3 was a disappointment. Oh, yeah, you're welcome, Michael. Thank you for asking that question. Michael's giving you a run for your money when it comes to questions. Michael started to give you a run for your money. Lexi is the question queen. But you're getting some steep competition, Lexi. Okay, so Lexi, share your thoughts on Starrcast. You were in Vegas. You had the AEW experience. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and jump into the headlines because we're actually going to talk about AEW. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. Headlines. Here we go. All right, let's talk about some AEW AllOut, ladies and gentlemen. Lexi, you were there, so what was your Vegas experience? Chicago AllOut was in Chicago. It's about Impact's going to be in Vegas. Double or Nothing was in Vegas. AllOut was in Chicago. So what was your Chicago experience, Lexi? You said Starrcast 3 was a disappointment. Why was it a disappointment? Very interested to get your take on that. And I got to give my shout out to my Buckeyes. Got my Buckeyes shirt on today. And yeah, huge Buckeyes fan, as you guys know. You know. And they won 45-21. Lexi says Starrcast 3 was ill-prepared, a money grab, and no one was there. So, yes, Penn State won 79-7. Yes, it was hilarious. Yeah, I've had conversations about that. I think, Ryan Day wants to be conservative. He wants to do the Trestle route, the Urban Meyer route. But I'm like, you know what, man? This is your first year. you want to make that offense confident. And we'll talk about your Lexi, we'll talk about your Starrcast commentary too, because I definitely wanted to talk about that. But you got to run the score up, man. You have to. You want to make your offense confident, and you got to run that score up. Sports Huddle says NXT UK was better than AllOut. I agree with that. I agree. We'll talk about it a little bit more. But yeah, so Starrcast 3, interesting. Money grab. So yeah, they so who all pulled out? Booker T pulled out, right? Undertaker was supposed to be there. He pulled out. Flair pulled out, right? So really, Punk was the only one. It was the only, big name really there, the really marketable name. A lot of people pulled out. So interesting, Lexi. What, in your opinion, what made it a money grab? Because it seems like there's so many AEW marks. Because there's so many AEW marks that you could really do anything Starrcast related and people will come to. Tyler Bate, Cody. Tyler Bate is who Walter Williams. Like I said, CM Punk did 2 meet and greets for $149 a pop. The gold and platinum packages offered meet and greet, access panels, the works. None of that occurred. I had to pay an additional $20. Wow. Wow. So with the package, who did you all see? A viewing party with no snacks or drinks that kept dropping the live stream. Wow. That's not good. That's not good at all. That sounds like a money grab for sure. So, interesting. Very, very interesting. So that's not good. That's not good. To my knowledge, AEW will start doing a paid meet and greets like an indie show before big shows, one day event. Yeah. Lexi saw no one. We saw no one. Wow. That's crazy. And every single meet and greet, you had to pay extra. That's not good. Wowzers. Well, that's not good at all. That sounds like a ripoff. So, Mike, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. Thanks, Mike. Mike just sent me a message. Thanks, man. We'll talk about that. Hit me up tomorrow about that. We'll talk about that a little bit more. I appreciate you doing that. Unless you bug them at the food truck or hotel lobby. Wow, this is some exclusive stuff here. Keep it going, Lexi, because this is some exclusive stuff. If I get enough material here, I might write an article about this. Because I did not know that it was that bad. Actually, I didn't know it was that bad. A good friend of mine went to Starrcast. And I think he got to meet Arn and Tully, and he paid like $50 for that. Got some great intel on a future signing for AEW. Really? Oh. Well, I want to push you to share that information, Lexi. So if you do have it, if you wanted to make it top secret, you have my email address. So feel free to email that to me, Lexi. Conrad said this is his last event. I can see that. As far as it being Conrad's last event, because he was reluctant to do it too, because he said that one was just so time consuming. So you have a ton of pics for receipts. Hey, slap that on the Crave Wrestling Facebook page, Lexi. Slap all those pictures on the Crave Wrestling Facebook page. And yeah, like I can make that into an article and credit you on the bottom of the article. Credit your Twitter handle. My opinion, follow you on your main Twitter page and missed out on all the news about the move to your own channel. Got you. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I shared that last week. Basically, I've had this channel for a while. I usually put it as a hub for interviews and stuff like that. And I do some live watch parties with the pay-per-views. And you have unedited footage from CM Punk's panel. Okay, so you got a lot of good stuff, Lexi. Yeah, put that on my Facebook. Put it on the Crave Wrestling Facebook page. Put all that stuff on there, and I'll write about that stuff. But yeah, Sports Huddle. Excuse me, let me get a drink real quick. But yeah, put that on that page, Sports Huddle. So I got a so twofold. One, Wrestling Inc. is taking away non-Wrestling Inc. branded shows, and Pancakes and Powerslams is all mine, all my baby. I started it in April of 2012. All my idea, 100% my show. So wrestling was just giving me a platform, and when we negotiated, I made it very clear that Pancakes and Powerslams will still be my show. So we agreed on it, gave him the platform. It was good to go. And so I noticed that it wasn't promoted. Well, you guys know it wasn't promoted very heavy. Now I would text him sometimes, like during the podcast, and like when I had Steamboat on, and he would do, and he would announce it and stuff like that. Like when I would text him, like I text him about Adam Rose, I think like that, like during the podcast, and he would make those announcements. But it was the platform that they gave me, and I appreciated it. But at the same time, I'm a freelance guy. What's up, Daniel? Good to have you. I'm a freelance flapjack. Yeah, I'm a freelancer. I freelance for Sports Illustrated. I freelance for Fox Sports. Yeah, I like, I'm like the Cody before AEW. I'm like the Cody Rhodes. I call myself the Cody Rhodes of wrestling journalism. I'm my own brand, man. I'm a freelancer. I'm my own brand. I make my own rules, and that's just how it is. And people agree with it, and people don't. But at the same time, I appreciate wrestling giving me the platform. Like I said, amicable. Thank you, Mo. I appreciate that, man. Amicable departure, and it was a blessing. It was definitely a blessing, because actually I was it's funny because he emailed me and told me about the drop. He actually said they're going to start dropping it mid-September, and I was like, well, I actually was going to leave, because he basically he said that I was going to leave in mid-September. I actually told him that I was going to leave and early by the end of August, because I actually got another platform with the site that I write for now, that I have been writing for almost a year now. So, and they actually have close to 1 million Facebook followers between their social media pages. They have actually over 1 million Facebook followers. So, great platform. I mean, the people there are, oh my gosh, like I kid you not. I've been writing for Wrestling Inc. off and on for 7 years. I wrote for WrestleZone. I wrote for I wrote some very, very infancy, like before What Culture became like a boom. I was actually recruited to write for What Culture, and I didn't have time to write for What Culture, so I told him I just don't have the time. But I ended up writing like one piece for What Culture, like maybe one or two pieces for What Culture, like before it became like a huge, site and video YouTube channel. And this was years ago. I wrote for, who else have I written for? Mostly Wrestling Inc. WrestleZone for a bit. I wrote for The Inquisitor. That was some good money. That was some really good money. Then they had some cuts. They cut like a lot of their wrestling people. Who else did I write for? Digital Spy. Yeah, Digital Spy. I'm still freelancing with them. Digital Spy is one of the most popular entertainment sites in the UK, and I still freelance for them. I interviewed Goldberg for Digital Spy. I interviewed Nick Aldis for Digital Spy, and I did a really interesting. They actually recruited me to write to be a part of a multi-person diversity piece that they had about and I wrote about the impact of black entertainment when I was a kid. It was a really good idea. It was really cool. Who else have I written for? Man, I've written for a bunch of sites. Right now, I write for FanBuzz. Hands down, my favorite place that I've ever written for. Hands down. I mean, the people at the administration at FanBuzz is, I mean, talk about top of the line, support the heck out of you. Like I cannot say enough about FanBuzz. First of all, the money's really good, and then but just the support is just amazing. Like they're from the top down, their administration is so supportive, so supportive of PNP, just all out, man. Just supportive of my brand, just supportive of who I am as a writer. I am like the voice of wrestling for FanBuzz. They actually hired me to be the wrestling guy, so I'm the wrestling writer for the FanBuzz. And they Wide Open Media. They own a bunch of sites like Rare and Wide Open Eats, and it's a bunch of different sites that they have. But FanBuzz is the sports related, and I write the WWE portion of that. So. But yeah, who else have I written for? Like I said, Digital Spy. I still write for them as a freelancer. Like I said, Fox Sports, that was pretty cool. Sports Illustrated, that was pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool stuff. I read a bunch of stuff. A lot of other. I mean, almost every. Like big wrestling site, major wrestling site, I've contributed to them in some form. Wrote for Wrestling News for a while. Wrestling Rumors. Shout out to Wrestling Rumors too. Since this is my show, I can promote whoever I want as far as sites are concerned. It's not when I was at Wrestling Inc. I couldn't promote anybody else's site, but I still don't do that because I don't get paid for it. Because I'm about to. Speaking of paid, I'm about to plug the sponsor. But yeah, P&P, praise the Lord, has gotten to a point where, I've paid sponsors now. But yeah, I just want to give a shout out to, since this is a freedom show, I want to give a shout out to other sites that have given me opportunities as Bleacher Report. How could I forget Bleacher Report? I wrote for Bleacher Report as a feature columnist for almost 3.5 years. How in the world can I forget Bleacher Report? Bleacher Report was the start of it all. Like I wrote for a place called Hub Pages for a while. That was my start into wrestling journalism. Yeah, like within weeks, they liked my writing so much that I became a feature columnist, and so yeah, that was super dope. And I was there for almost 3.5 years at Bleach Report. I'm missing some really cool comments. Hashtag ask Chris so it can stand out, just like the other ones. Girl was busy in her leggings and J's. Arlen telling me Green was $59. Medusa was $19. Private Party, hate their name, was $19. Price to be at the high Regency bar, $7. Bringing us the new Freedom podcast. That's funny. I wouldn't find Chris if he wasn't wrestling because of following him. I find on Facebook. Yeah. And plus there were so many podcasts on wrestling too that PNP started to like get buried. Like it was so buried because we used to, like my show on wrestling used to get like 1,000, 2,000 views, like between 800 and 2,000 views. And that was before like a whole bunch of other like news videos. It just got buried and just further and further buried. And so I ended up getting like 400 to 500 views, and I'm grateful for that. That's great. And again, left on good terms, but I started to get buried, as far as all the news that was coming out and stuff like that, and I really started to put more emphasis on their video, their YouTube channel and stuff like that. PNP started to get buried in all the videos and stuff. So that was a bad thing too. Yes, all this is really cool. I've had him on my show twice. Sports Huddle. I got a sports announcer paper biography due to Sunday. I might have to do it on Chris with all the he is telling us. Yeah, man, hit me up. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it for sure. Let's see. He's making me want to do a power slam and pancake Dr. Depp style. Yeah, Cody, I'm definitely interested in freelancing in Fox Sports again. The reason why I don't write for Fox Sports again is because they cut their WWE section like a while ago, a couple years ago. Wait, I freelanced, 2016 I think it was. And they cut their WWE section altogether. So that's the reason why I stopped writing for them. But I'm wondering if they bring a WWE section, back. But I would definitely be willing to do something big like that with Fox Sports. But I'm so happy where I'm at FanBuzz though. Like super duper happy. Like I did media for them at WrestleMania. They've been really blessing me, guys. I'm really thankful. So yeah, but I'll be as far as a beat writer, like as far as like a beat writer, covering the buzzy subjects and stuff like that. Yeah, I'll be game for that. I think Fox Sports Australia, no, Fox Sports. I think Fox Sports Asia, and I think Fox Sports Philippines are still pretty booming. I know that Fox Sports Asia was for a second, but I think they stopped like being very active in their WWE channel, the WWE section. But Fox Sports Philippines. Yeah, they're not really updated in it either. So Fox Sports, man, they just kind of stopped being active in their WWE stuff. I wonder why. That's weird, especially since Fox Sports is going to be they're going to be on Fox Sports, so it would make sense for them to be very active in their in their channel. That's a bit odd. When you're a mark for yourself, it hurts your brand. Yeah, it's true. I agree for sure. Go in a little bit. Go into a little bit. Go a little bit more into that, Michael. Why you said that? I'm interested in that. Again, excuse the sniffing. This is my way. This is my body trying to flush out all the badness, all the sickness. Yeah, go a little deeper into that, more, Michael. All right, good stuff, guys. Cool stuff. All right, so yeah, all that to say about AEW. Let's go through the matches real quick, and then because I want to hurry up so we can watch a match, a King of the Ring match. Nyla Rose winning the women's battle royal. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I was wondering why that too, Jazz. I was wondering why Jazz was bald. But yeah, Michael, go a little bit further into that quote, that quote that you said. Yeah, that was just a man. That was a man for me. There were some things I was like Mercedes Martinez. You know, she got the biggest pop of the night. That'd have been cool if she won. Private Party and Jack Evans and the Helico match was pretty cool. That's jumping Rana into the cutter. That was pretty dope. SCU. I mean, I like SCU. A boy and his dinosaur, I think what they call him, a.k.a. the Jungle Express. Yeah, I mean, it was a decent opener. Not bad. Pocket Omega was pretty good. Oh, yeah, alopecia. Okay, thank you, Lexi. Yeah, alopecia. Cody thinks that Pocket Omega was definitely better than Ambrose and Omega would have been. Yeah, I agree. Someone asked me that. Has stop painting to crowd reactions like WWE to set the mood. Let me know how you feel about the situation. I agree with that. For sure. 100% agree with that. And that's what I was talking to Shawn Stasiak about. You have to know a balance. You have to know the balance, and you have to know when to have the crowd wanting more. I think at the end of the day, you got to have them wanting more. You can't just give them all you can. Like if it's like I have 3 kids. Okay, now my oldest will actually be 7 years old next week. 7, 4.5, and almost 2. And if I gave my kids everything that they asked for, I wouldn't have them. First of all, they would appreciate it less. They didn't feel like they had to work for it, and they wouldn't like long for it. You gotta have that. You gotta have that longing for it. In wrestling these days, unfortunately, so many like promoters, big promoters, they just kind of give the fans what they want. And one thing I noticed on Raw and SmackDown, we won't do too much. I mean, we'll talk about the Bayley turn, but we don't want to do too much on that, except for the grades. But one thing I noticed on SmackDown was it was so ridiculous because it was crazy how the fans would like cheer somebody who's a heel, and then they'll say something heelish, and then they'll boo them, and it's like, what is going on in your mind to make you think that this person wants your cheers? Like, this person's a heel. This person wants your cheers. And I noticed that's the sad state of wrestling, that many wrestling fans are booing and cheering based on just moments. I'll boo you now, then you'll cut something in a promo that make me cheer, and then you'll do something, and then 2 minutes later you'll say something in a promo to make me boo, and then you say something that makes me cheer again, and then it's like, what are you doing? Make up your minds. It's ridiculous. And I just, like I said, man, someone texted me, a good friend of mine texted me. I have a group wrestling text of some really good friends, and one asked me, what I think about the Bayley turn. I said the Bayley turn was good, but pro wrestling fans just sabotage my interest. They really do. It just sabotage my interest because, first of all, people want to just mark out for themselves and boo and cheer whoever they want, and that hurts the talent. It really hurts the talent, guys. It really does. Like, I mean, I understand that there's exceptions to the rule, and as far as certain heels and things like that, it's always been like that. But first of all, I mean, WWE has a lot of fault in it as well, because you have to develop your characters for sure. That's very, very important. But I mean, I would say that Orton is doing a pretty good job. You got people, Kofi's his interest and his popularity has been dwindling a little bit. So for Randy Orton on SmackDown to elicit a stadium, arena wide Kofi chant, see, stuff like that is what a heel should do. Well done, Randy Orton. I give you applause. Matter of fact, the applause for the night goes to Randy Orton. Absolutely. I got to give it to him. Because I think that's what you do. Stuff like that is what really makes it interesting in the face heel dynamic. GSP Express, do you think Bayley's heel turn needs to be with a new look and theme music, or keep it the same? See, here's the problem with Bayley's heel turn, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Okay, let me do real quick. AEW, the Cracker Barrel stuff. I mean, meh. Yeah. Audio specialist, you, Chris. All right, Michael, let's see what you were talking about. I remember the news site owners let wrestlers write podcasts, do podcasts. We know your strength and weakness is the best. Example, I'm a producer and director. I know that I'm not a host or cameraman. Audio specialist, you, Chris, have a great approach that gets people like me, 42, want to listen. I would always put people in place to do things that aren't my strengths following. That's good, man. Very good. That's a really good take on that. Very good take on that, Michael. The Cracker Barrel stuff, it was a shocker. It had its place. I believe it was okay. I think Darby Allin should have won that though, because I mean, how in the world would you get to the point where you have a time limit draw against Cody and then lose this Cracker Barrel fight? Dark Order, I'm just, yeah. I mean, they're not too bad, but I'm just not really into them. I mean, Best Friends are funny, but obviously AEW is like into it, into the Dark Order. I'm not. Lexi's asking, with Chris Cyborg being announced to move to Bellator due to lack of willing opponents UFC, how do you think Nyla Rose will fare if she injures a female wrestler? Well, that's that goes back into a deeper conversation, really. it does. Yeah. AEW just need to be careful with that stuff because Nyla Rose is physically stronger, definitely genetically stronger, and they just have to be careful about that stuff. I'll just keep it at that. So, Riho defeating Hikaru Shida. That was that was a very meh match. I didn't get into that. I was wondering why that match was. Yeah, I was wondering why that match was. Oh yeah, because of Fyter Fest. I think Riho pinned. She won the triple threat, right? Yeah, but I really didn't get into that match. Cody and Spears was emotional. Definitely a good emotional match there. I love the fact that Cody is. I love the emotional appeal that Cody brings to the matches. I will give him that. Escalera de la Muerte. Yeah, that was a good match. LAX coming out was pretty cool. I knew that LAX was going to do that. Arn Anderson Spinebuster. It was amazing to see that again. I was happy. I was very, very happy to see Arn Anderson coming out and do the spine on the pine. Yes, Dan, you did call the Arn Anderson interference. And I'm a Jericho guy, so I was happy that he beats Hangman Page. But I see a world of talent for Page. I've had Page on my show twice. And Adam Page, man, he's just – I see a star in that guy, man. He's just a star. I see a lot in him. Probably because I think he has one of the best theme songs in pro wrestling, and you guys know I'm a big theme song person. It's a total package to make a guy a star. It's not just in-ring work. It's what you wear. It's just your character, your gimmick, your theme music, everything, your aura, all encompassing. And to me, Adam Page has that cowboy, that rugged cowboy type of look. I really, really like his theme music. One of my favorites. Jericho, he was in the best shape that he's been in a while. So that was pretty cool. But I think they're putting on Jericho because they need a bigger name for the TNT launch. So I can, that's the reason why they're doing that. But I can see, it's sad that Paige is kind of already going to go down the line, the rankings though, because it seemed like they're going to do him and Pac. I was actually surprised that Pac beat Omega. I think they could have done something heelish for that. They could have done something heelish for that. Cody said he laughed when JR said it, Jericho's in the best shape. He's got some abs though now. I mean, he's he's been, there was a couple times in New Japan that he needed some work. But yeah. How do I feel about the Pharaoh incident? Do I feel like fans and or bloggers are blowing it out of proportion? The Pharaoh incident. School me on that. Let me see. Let me look and see what that is about. Pharaoh incident. Let me look and see what this is about. Again, I'm sorry guys for the sniffing. The entrance. Oh, okay, got it. Okay, yeah, Pharaoh's dog Cody. Okay, yeah, I saw that. Scared the dog. Okay. Yeah. That was just part of the show. I mean, of course, they weren't expecting that, but yeah, I'd imagine pyro and loud music would scare any dog. So that's just maybe for next time, don't bring your dog out. So, all right, so let's get into this. We got to zoom past this because we got some King of the Ring to talk about. We only got about 20 minutes left. All right, TakeOver overall, I think it was better. Remind me, GHP, about the Becky Lynch question that you asked me. Was it GHP? I think. Cardiff was good, just overall better to me. The matches were good. I think Cesaro being there fits so much. It's like, man, you lose to Miz on Raw, but man, just him being there was just fit, man. He's a star, and it fits so well. Yeah, it was a solid show. It was a solid show. Nothing spectacular, but the end was the match between Walter and Tyler Bate was amazing. But yeah, I think it was better than AEW. So I enjoyed TakeOver. All right, so Bayley turn. We talked about the Bayley turn throughout the show. JSP, what was your question? I want to address your question on this part. Let me look it up and see. Pharaoh incident. Let's see. The leader's in the house. Tammy's in the house. PNP Nation is thick tonight. Y'all are some of the dopest supporters ever. PNP Nation is thick. Y'all are awesome. I really appreciate y'all. All right, GHP. All right. What was that question again, GHP? I don't see it. It's probably further up there. I didn't see NXT last week. I saw the setup. I'm a couple weeks behind on NXT, so I didn't see the Keith Lee. They're doing it. I don't like overall how they're treating Keith Lee. I'm not a fan of that at all. Lexi, with the looming war taking place coming October, what do you think AEW? What do you think it'll take for AEW to compete? What will WWE NXT do to remain an edge over AEW? I think AEW. Thank you, Deleter. I think NXT is already going to have an edge because people like. Yeah. GHP. I know what you meant as far as dodgy coverage. I think NXT has an edge because people enjoy the NXT product. Just period. It's just a solid product. As far as WWE main roster, I know that they're looking at it as a war, but I don't know if that's really going to change just their product. I mean, having Heyman and Bischoff at the helms, that helps. But NXT is going to 2 hours, Tammy. But I don't know. I just don't see much of a difference when it comes to Raw and SmackDown. So I'm interested to see for the rest of the year how the numbers are going to look for 2 months. I think having like the first few weeks that's going to say some, but I think watching the numbers throughout the year is really going to show just where the ebb and flow is. Mike is asking, do you feel like the Bayley turn is 6 months too late? And I'm going to tie it in with GHP's Ask Chris as well. Do you think Bayley's turn needs to be with the new look and theme music? Or keep it the same. Okay, yeah, that's what you asked. Yeah, so 6 months too late. Yeah, I do think it was too late. I think it's... Oh, yeah, this is what I was going to say with that. I think it's overshrouded by Sasha's turn. Why would you turn Bayley heel and they're not going to be a team? And Sasha's going to be on Raw. Bayley's going to be on SmackDown. But they're still kind of working together. But Charlotte's still a heel. And Bayley is now a heel. And you don't want to make Charlotte a babyface, you definitely don't want to make Charlotte a babyface. It's just a really weird. It was a really weird time to turn. I would have done it the Raw after Clash. That would have been much better. But having Charlotte be a part of this mix too, it just makes it really weird. Really, really weird. Cody's asking, do I think Mr. Rogers Braid do the promos at ring at some point and not just doing the Firefly Funhouse? No, I would keep it. I would keep it the Firefly Funhouse. Yeah, see, don't turn Charlotte face. You don't do that, because she's one of the only true heels that they have left, and I can't stand this flip flopping crap. This flip flop, back and forth. Babyface heel crap. I can't stand it. I'm not a big fan of it at all. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that mess. Hold on. My audio went out. Hold on real quick, guys. Alright, there we go. Let me do that, and let me do that. There we go. Now we're live, pal. Alright, yeah, I don't want to make Charlotte a face. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Just a bad idea. And you keep flip-flopping baby faces and heels. That's what jacks up a character. That's the reason why, as much as I'm a Jericho mark, that's the reason why he's not known as being one of the best, because of his face heel turns and putting people over so much. That's the reason why Big Show is, albeit a Hall of Famer, he won't be one of the best because of that. So, yeah. You don't want to keep doing that. Charlotte's a heel. Make her a heel. All right. That is that. Okay. Lexi says, being honest, a ton of people turned in Chicago. I'm drafting your email now. Details, but I can tell you that there was a very elitist attitude going around in Starrcast. Interesting. Yes. Give me all of that stuff, Lexi. I wanna write a good article about that. Some exclusive information. Yes, give me that. Give me that good stuff, because I definitely want to write about it. All right, guys. I think just real quick, Raw and SmackDown grades. And as you do that, let's go to the flavor of the week. Oh, let me ask a trivia question. How dare I? Oh, and let me plug my bookie. Oh my goodness. How dare I? Let's see. Let's see, guys. I gotta give them some love. Gotta give the podcast sponsor some love. All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen. This show is sponsored by my bookie. All right, so listen. Listen here. Listen, if you found $100 on the street, would you pick it up or would you keep walking? Of course, you take the money. So why do you keep picking winners and not betting on them? That's why I go to my bookie. It's fast, it's easy, and they pay when you win. Let's face it, guys. What you're betting is just as important as who you're betting on. And listen, again, football season coming up. There's your safe bet of where to go. MyBookie.com, MyBookie.ag. And do you know that you could bet on games after kickoff too? So if by the second half it looks like your bet is going to lose, you can always take the other side. And isn't that cool? And that's the crazy part of this whole thing. And again, I wouldn't be telling you guys to bet with them if they aren't the best. Again, like I said last week, like I'm saying this week, you want to go to mybookie.ag, especially for you fantasy guys. I said before, I'm terrible at fantasy football and stuff, but mybookie.com, it would definitely make me want to get into the fantasy, especially if you're the kind of guy that likes to bet a little, win a lot. Try a parlay. If all your picks come through, you'll multiply your winnings. And no matter how you bet, the NFL season is the best time of the year. Listen, again, I love college football, and I'm a big Titans fan, pro football. My Brownies, they just cut Braxton Miller, unfortunately, because I'm a Titans fan, but like I said, I'm a closet Browns fan because I want them to succeed because I'm a diehard Ohioan. But unfortunately, Ohio State, Braxton Miller, they cut him. He didn't make the top tier. But at the same time, they said that he has a shot of getting picked up on the team. So I'm definitely wishing the best for him. He was such a good contribution to Ohio State. But here's the thing: wherever he goes to, getting MyBookie will definitely make you want to watch his games because you place a bet and then you want him and his team to be successful. So join now. Listen, enter the promo code Pancakes, mybookie.com. Go, log on, sign up, sign in. Just a small deposit. Enter a promo code Pancakes, and it activates the offer, and you get to get in there, as you see with the site. Some really, really cool stuff. You get your first $100,000 bonus with your first deposit, $1,000 sign-in bonus, $250,000 guaranteed with the super contest, 200% referral bonus, 150% casino bonus up to $750. So click on that join now, and that's what you do. So you join, and then when you join, you hit the promo code Pancakes. Create your account. There it is. Real easy, guys. You go in there, manage your account, and you get in there, and then of course, like I said, you go to the promo code Pancakes to activate the offer. All right, once again, that's mybookie.com. Promo code Pancakes to activate the offer, and have fun. Enjoy this football season, guys. Get some money doing it too. All right, so let's go to the flavor of the week, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I do see some Raw and SmackDown grades. We only have like a few minutes though, so the watch party is going to be very short. I got to find a very, very short video for the watch party, like a couple-minute video. So 93 was Bret Hart winning. The main event was Bret Hart winning and Bam Bam. Lawler and Piper was the 94 King of the Ring. 95 was Sid and Tatanka versus Diesel and Bam Bam. That was interesting. 96 was British Bulldog and Shawn Michaels for the World Heavyweight Championship, and Perfect was the referee. And then 97 was Farouk versus The Undertaker for the WWE Championship. That was really interesting. We'll get a little bit more into that. So King of the Ring, let me find something really, really quick. I did see something with Brett and Perfect, I think. We'll get to that. I did see Brett and Perfect. Let's see. 1993. Okay. Let's get into this one real quick.
Which type?
Because we only have a couple of minutes, unfortunately. All right, so let me get into that. All right, here we go. This is Zack Ryder's thing.
Listen to him right now. They don't appreciate the way Mr. Perfect is taking
get to the end of this.
executed. Hart is blocking the suplex. They're down. No! They're both tapping on the top.
I can't believe what I've just seen. This could be a double countout, and Bam Bam Bigelow could be the king of the ring.
Both men slapped against the concrete floor.
But Mr. Perfect, when he went over.
Injured. His leg is hurt.
So, perfect. Small package. Bret Hart reverses it.
He reversed it. Mr. Perfect cannot believe what just happened, and neither can I.
There it is. All right. Maybe we could have another watch party, but unfortunately we have no more time. We have a very, very we gotta go. We're out of time, as Tony Schiavone would say. That's the start for. Let's see what type of theme we want. Let's do this one. Yeah, there we go. All right, guys. It's been a pleasure. Let me, there's some Ask Chris questions that we got a few more minutes. I want to open up for any more Ask Chris questions. That was your watch party for tonight. Let's see. Ask Chris questions real quick. Mo's asking, what do you think about King of the Ring triple threat match? Do you think that messed up the legacy of the King of the Ring tournament? That was just weird. That was weird. That was just a really weird way to. I don't know who comes up with this stuff. I really don't. Of course, it was planned. Yes, GHP, that would be great. Find us a good match for next Tuesday, and be sure that it's on the WWE. Be sure it's on the WWE page, the YouTube page, because they won't ping me for using their YouTube stuff that's already public. So, and make it between 98 to 2002. 98 to 2002. Let me know, and we'll do a watch party for that one. So that'll be fun. All right. Thanks, Michael. Great show, he says. Fun, guys. Fun stuff. Good stuff, guys. Think about creating triple threat. Yeah, that's just weird. I don't know what people think about that. I don't know why. I don't know. That just made no sense to me. Absolutely just made no sense. Have somebody. It seems like what they want to do is this is what I get from this. They don't want Baron Corbin to pin Ricochet. They want. I'm telling you what's going to happen. Gable's going to pin Elias. Corbin's going to pin Samoa Joe because they want to protect Ricochet. They don't want Ricochet to get pinned or take the fall clean to Baron Corbin. So what they did was have a triple threat match, and they put Samoa Joe in there, so Samoa Joe can actually take the fall from Baron Corbin. So it's just weird. They could have just had Samoa Joe, the referee, Baron Corbin distract the referee, and then they could have led to Samoa Joe taking Ricochet out and could have lost by count out. But yeah, Joe's he's the filler. He's the buffer guy, unfortunately. So, but he will take the fall against that. So, Lexi, my email address, I'm gonna type it in here. There you go. Here's my email. So Corbin's going to beat Chad Gable in the finals. All right, guys. It has been a pleasure. Thank you so much. It has been so fun. Hashtag freedom. This is a really, really cool show, guys. I really enjoyed it. This was awesome. I really enjoyed it. Thanks, guys, for all your support, PNP Nation. Thank you so much for all your awesome support, PNP Nation. It was awesome. It was fun. Hit that like button, comment, subscribe. Listen, ring the bell if you have not yet. Ring the bell. Subscribe, like, comment, do all that good stuff. On behalf of 388 episodes, I want to big thanks to Shawn Stasiak. Huge thanks to the PNP Nation for making this show awesome. And until next week, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button, subscribe to the Crave Wrestling page. Until next week, enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless, and always remember, I do it for you. Have a good night, everybody. God bless.